I was at work when my partner phoned me on the 14th of February 2011 to tell me she'd gone into labour. The little ambulance come and it took over an hour before the other ambulance come. We got her up to the infirmary. She was put on monitor and they just ignored her cries for help. It was a flippant attitude. It was, you're pregnant, you're having a baby, you know, let's get on with it. That's how I felt. I mean, obviously my partner carried her for 9 months. Unfortunately, we ended up losing the baby. She passed away in my arms. We got shot down at the coroner's court because every question I asked, it was, this is not a law court, this is a coroner's court. So in the end, we had to give up asking questions. We had no professional people with us to help us. And that's where everything was going, why we feel was going wrong against us. People were firing at us.
When Mr. Farnworth originally approached the firm, it was obviously an incredibly distressing and traumatic time for both him and his family. The emotional support that he required was just as important as the legal support. And he was desperate for answers, desperate for an explanation. It was important for me to be able to give him clear guidance about where we were going to go with his claim, that he was aware of the steps that needed to be taken to achieve his goals. It was important for me to have a good relationship with him. I wanted it to be a situation where Mr. Farnworth could approach me or anyone in my team if he had any questions.
We're coming up to Stevenson's to have a meeting with Tom and different people, and we felt at ease because, well, I mean, we ended up with a relationship where I could listen to Tom, I could ring Tom at any time, and they listened to us, and my barrister, and Arlene Bradbury. Everybody listened to what we had to say and what had gone wrong. I've always had Stevenson's to be how can I say, like a backbone for me.
No amount of compensation will be sufficient when a child has suffered an injury, or heaven forbid when a child has passed away. My focus and the reason why I do this job is to get parents closure, and to get parents an explanation for what's gone on. It might be that the injury was always going to happen and that the situation was always going to play out as it did. If that isn't the case, and if there is a potential argument that the injury or passing should have been avoided, then I hope to get the family the apology and the outcome and compensation that they deserve.
Without help of Tom Mooney, we'd have been in a situation now where my daughter had been buried. She died of vasopravia, which we know now from the legal point of view of it. She didn't just die of the vasopravia, she died of neonatal hypoxia, which was the oxygen to her brain. If you feel you've been mistreated, then you need to pick the phone up and contact the solicitors, which is, I recommend Stevenson's to anybody. They will tell you whether you have or whether you've not got a case to answer.